well, we were just discussing on how I think every artist goes through the same questions and thoughts in their heads, but maybe at different times and different phases in their ideas. Because you came in with an idea, I came in with nothing, because the last hour on the day before I was involved in the whole phone thing, so I didn't really get time to focus, and I get home, I don't get time to focus on what. So I came in and just explored. I knew I wanted to do something with PMC, so I have some precious metal clay pieces that aren't quite done yet. But then we saw this other whole process that Patrick showed us with the markers, and so I wanted to kind of explore that, and so I started with this whole marker design on a piece of paper, and after I got done and printed it, I hated it. I thought, well, this is icky. It's like not sophisticated, not very childish, and I thought, well, it's okay, but I don't really like it. So then he started on another process. So I was really just doing a lot of exploration. Then I saw other people, because I do pick up from other people, and then I feel like, oh, I'm just copying what they're doing, but I want to try what they're doing so I can figure out if I like it or not. And so then I just did colored pencils on the watercolor paper, and then I did the wax thing, and then the black ink on top of it, and that was just kind of my background. So then I cut my piece up because I didn't like it. So I thought, well, if I cut it up, maybe I'll like it better. And then I outlined it with black marker because I thought, well, if I outline it, maybe that'll be better. And I just kind of kept doing the next thing and the next thing. And my life right now has been kind of involved because I knew we have to do this identity for whatever reason. My life's been just this swirls. And I think because of the last 5 years I've been through countless transitions. I've lived overseas. I've been a single mom because my husband stayed overseas. So I was a single mom for 2 teenagers. I mean, not really, we're not separated or anything, but he was in Australia and I was here with them. And then he came back for a little bit, and then he moved to Alabama, and then my daughter's graduating. So the last few years of my life have just been swirls and chaos and just colors. And so I knew I wanted to incorporate the swirls. And then another teacher, which is really great for me, when we're all together, I get ideas, which said incorporate the metal. And that's, I've been really focusing a lot on jewelry making. I've incorporated a jewelry making class at Blevins, and trying to develop that because that's been one of the things that I've liked. So I've been working a lot with metal, and then the swirls. So the plan is, I'm not quite finished yet, and now as we're just talking, I kind of push these off of this, and I'm like, oh, I kind of like them off now. So the plan is to incorporate a little bit more metal and to incorporate some more brads and to kind of put that down and to be very abstract, which I tend to work abstract but tight. Not, this is looser a little bit inside than I work, but as you can see, that whole squared and angled tightness kind of still comes into play. So for me, what comes next is I never know, because I haven't had the inspiration or the time to work on my own artwork. So this last 2 days has been really good. Frustrating because I didn't know what I was going to do with my identity. I wanted to start with something from my history, and that didn't work out. I didn't really like that. But I think my present and my identity is really what's focused my artwork, as far as changes and transitions and adjusting and being that person who's not really liking to adjust or change because of my squared edges. So, but anyway, that's kind of my that's kind of my the whole thought process.
Well, I think that's interesting, because I would never have known that about you unless, I mean, I love this idea of the documentation station, or, you know,
to find out.
And it feels a little more freeing than the writing too. You know, just would love to be able to figure out how to do that with elementary kids in the short amount of time that I have. But I mean, it really does make sense, and the struggle that you went through is kind of reflective of what you said is your life right now, the kind of chaos, the play around, a whole bunch of things going on. But somehow you pulled it all together, which is still you know,
Oh,
you're here.
well,
you're,
thanks. Yeah, I'm still like,
standing up straight.
well, and I'm finally liking it. You know, because when it was just this, I was like, yeah, well, that's anticlimactic. And then when I outlined, I'm like, well, that's a little bit better, but And then I put it on these guys, and I'm like, okay, well, now what do I do with it? And then incorporating the metal, I think that was a really good.
Yeah.
One of the other teachers said, you're doing a lot with metal, incorporate metal. And I'm like, oh, that's such a great idea to incorporate what I already am really been focusing on a little bit on my own. So.
Well, and I'm noticing too the non-permanent, because I think in you're kind of discussing how that's what's going on in your world in transition, and the non-permanence of your piece, not having it completely glued down yet, adjusting with the wire, and that process itself is just as important.
Yeah, it's trying to adjust and trying to anchor down. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be the next. So anyway.